Start again.
What's up, mate?
Start again.
Start again?
Start again.
Okay.
I've never been to there in my life.
Go on.
Right. Okay, it's Boro Fan TV. It's Monday night. It's a Monday night club here at the Longlands. Joining me this week are Guesty and Kenny. Welcome to the show, lads.
Welcome, Kenny. Nice to have you, mate.
You all right, pal?
Aye.
Good, good. Lots to get through this week, Boro fans. As the dust settles on a week where Boro picked up 2 points from the games at home with Rotherham and Derby, we'll chat about those fixtures. Where do Boro go from here? Boro fans, as always, get in touch with us. Why do you think there appears to be an element of discontent amongst the supporters at the minute? Let us know. Get in touch with us. We'll have a chat about what's been going on. Obviously, the weekend, it's been a bit of a tough weekend with football, following the helicopter crash at Leicester City and Glenn Hoddle's health scare. Puts the game we love into perspective. Our thoughts and sympathies at Boro Fan TV go out to everybody at Leicester that was affected by that accident, and we send our best wishes to Glenn Hoddle for a speedy recovery. Okay then, lads, the fixtures at the weekend and before that last Tuesday, Rotherham. Guess we were here last week. Clean sweep, we said, against Rotherham. No problems there at all.
I said 6 points from Rotherham and Derby.
Yeah, well, Rotherham, first of all, I don't think anyone anticipated what happened there on Tuesday night. I mean, like you said, I think beforehand, Dale Fry was the man that made way for Martin Braithwaite.
Yeah.
In terms of that game, I know we had a discussion before we've got on air tonight, and I'll bring you in on this in a minute, Kenny, as well. Do you think Martin Braithwaite contributes enough to the team at the minute to warrant a starting place?
I don't think Martin Braithwaite brought much to the team since the transfer carry-on.
Right.
He was, you know, the rumours where he was wanting to go, then he was coming out afterwards saying that everything's good with him and Pulis, but if that's the case, he's not bringing it on a Saturday or a Tuesday. He seems too hell-bent on these fancy flicks, and he's not, you know, he's not doing the job that we know he can do, where he can bring other players into play. Yeah. He's too bent. He's too, like you say, he wants to do these fancy flicks, and the ideal example of that is that chance on Tuesday night when he could have went either side of the goalkeeper. Yeah. He could have went round the goalkeeper. Yeah. But he went for the Hollywood route and he tried to go over his head. And he didn't get it as high as the goalkeeper's groin. Yeah, and I dare say, Kenny, if that had gone in, the game would have been very different, wouldn't it?
The game would have been very different, yeah. They've opened up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Where do you stand on the Martin Braithwaite?
I agree with Tony in some perspective, but the only thing I don't like with Tony Pulis, since we've had a good run of 12 points at the beginning of the season, after the Millwall game, Braithwaite's played left wing and right wing of the three. I don't think he plays out wide very good. He doesn't need to link. For me, he has to play the number 10 role.
Right. Now, in terms of when we got promoted 3 years ago, we had Gaston Ramirez played that role as a number 10.
Yeah.
Can you make any sort of comparisons between Gaston Ramirez and Martin Braithwaite?
You could. Braithwaite was a different player at the start of the season when Lewis Wing was in the side. Yeah.
Right.
We went hell-bent on 49 crosses apparently Tuesday night. Yeah. So that tells me if you're putting 49 crosses into the box and you're getting no fruit off it, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, yeah.
We haven't got the strikers. We haven't got.
Asabelong for me isn't a target man, is he?
No.
He's a player who gets the ball into his feet and links and moves. And Braithwaite's that player with the wing for me.
Yeah. Wing was the missing link between Braithwaite, Asabelong and our midfield when he was in the side. Yeah. And we've got Stewie shotting crosses in, George Friend shotting crosses in, Ryan Shotton, who we've missed desperately, which is a surprise. You know, we missed his presence Tuesday. You know, it was just like bang, 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 cross after cross, but there's no commitment from our midfield. Yeah. We haven't got the strikers, and there's no commitment in our midfield to get beyond the strikers to be getting on the end of these crosses, James. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a concern. I mean, you touched on there that Ryan Shotton didn't play last Tuesday, and he didn't play obviously Saturday. Paddy McNair came in. Now he has come in for a bit of stick for his performances, and I think to some extent you've got to give the lad an opportunity because there will be a bit of rustiness in there because he's not played for us this season. They're his first 2 starting performances for the Boro. But do you think he's also being played out of position?
Yeah, I said this on I said this Saturday. Sorry, Ken. That it's only his second game. You can't knock the lad. Yeah. He's playing out of position. Yeah. And the Sunderland fans will tell you, stick him in centre mid, and he'll score your goals.
Well, I've been arguing with loads of fans, especially a couple of mates, and they're saying obviously he's crap in midfield, but his record at the end of the season for Sunderland, 5 goals, in 8 games played, says it all. Relegated side in Championship.
Yeah.
Wing back, if you Pulis signed him to get your goals in our team, that was what he said. He's some player, he's going to be some player to Boro, and he'll get you 10 goals a season, but he's playing right wing back. I don't get it.
No. And I think if you go back and look at some of the comments from West Brom and Stoke fans, I think it's something he's always done. I can't remember if it was a Stoke fan or a West Brom fan said they needed a left back for 8 years, and he never ever
tries
got one.
with the people there.
You know what I mean?
No, it's a fair point.
I don't know whether that was Stoke. It must have been Stoke because it was a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. John A. Boro fan, he's just got in touch with us there. Thanks for watching, John. Stats are now obvious. We need firepower and finishers, fellas. What do you make on that, lads? Have we got the strikers in the club that can deliver the goals, or do you think
I think
needs to be
Aspelong
brought
can get
in?
20 goals, no doubt about it.
Right.
I've argued with everyone, I'll still say it now, I'll stick by him.
But don't you think he's shot, Ken? I think watching him on Saturday, his confidence.
I just think sometimes because he hasn't got the support, he's given up for me. He's given up because he just thinks, what am I doing here? That's my point of view. He's probably thinking that and go to another club and score 20 goals.
But you feel sometimes some of his commitment, which you feel as if he's putting some effort in. And do you think it's just a token gesture, some of these?
I think sometimes when he's played up top on his own, when we've played like 5 at the back and then 4 and he's 1 up on his own and he's running all other shots, he's not even getting balls into his feet to have a chance.
Yeah.
I think what he needs to, for me, I think he's a good striker. Like you say, I think if he's played in, balls played in for him to run onto, I don't think he's a bad striker. Yeah. What I've been disappointed in the last few games with him is his hold-up play. And I think on Saturday it was like he was a trampoline, to be honest. The ball was bouncing off him and going all over the place. And he didn't give us an out on Saturday at all.
I think the last couple of weeks a few players have given up. Especially, I think Johnny Howson's went missing the last 2 weeks. Because he's been outstanding to me this season. Best player in Boro shirt for me. But last 2 weeks he's been missing.
Struggled.
See, fans only came out Tuesday night thinking, well, we created a lot of chances, but there was nothing to get you out your seat or warm you up. You know what I mean?
It wasn't like their keeper had a worldie last
Tuesday.
He
wasn't one of them, was he? You know?
For me, I think what Boro fans want is if you play poor and as long as you give it 100%. If you put 11 Jamie Pollocks in that team on Saturday, the fans would have been off the seats. In my opinion, there's none of that, is there? In that Boro team, there's no battling. There's no come on. There's nothing. Yeah. No art, no passion.
No.
That's what Boro fans want.
Talking about how the fans feel, Kenny, I mean, the final whistle, especially on Tuesday, first of all, that was greeted by quite a large amount of booing. Where do you stand on that subject of fans booing?
I don't disagree with it, mate.
Right.
Because the performance was terrible, wasn't it?
Right.
It was terrible. And they're paying good money to go and watch their team.
Yeah. Now, on Saturday, we were talking about this as well earlier, 20 minutes into the game, you could hear quite a bit of booing. Yeah. During the game.
I feel like
do you still feel that's the same if it's during the game?
Sometimes it's not aimed at the players, it's aimed at the manager as well, isn't it? But obviously they take it out on the players. I think if they show commitment, that boom would have been there.
Yeah.
Right.
But no one's shown commitment.
Do you think it's helpful if the crowd are getting on the backs and bowing them during the game?
I'm not being funny. You've got 2 Boro lads there who live in this town, who are all about Boro, and they should show the passion. If they show the passion and get the rest of the players playing, for me, the crowd will get off their feet.
Right.
Because I'm not being funny. If I was playing for Boro and I'm a Boro lad, I'd be screaming at everyone.
Yeah.
I would. I'd be screaming at everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
You, like you say, you've got Stewie in there, you've got Dale. Dale's only a kid. And George Friend's been at the club a long time now.
Well,
and they have got a lot of passion and they love the club, but when George comes out and gives this to the crowd at kick-off and at half-time, it just seems like a token gesture now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One good hard tackle on Saturday.
And it got him off the feet.
And it got everyone off their feet, whether we had the ball or we didn't. But there was none of that.
No, it certainly wasn't.
So
the
when
first
the boos
half,
came, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Kenny said, you never know whether it's directed at the staff or the players.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, James?
Yeah.
We were outside doing the interviews Tuesday night at full time and we had the boos outside.
Yeah, yeah.
So that surprised me, you know what I mean? But it's Teesside. We've discussed
it's not cheap to go to watch the matches, is it? People want to be entertained.
Like Rob said, he said people might have to wait 6 months before they can go a game, and they put their spare 30 quid in going to the Riverside to see a 0-0 draw against Rotherham. They ain't coming back.
I just think Boro fans aren't bothered whether you win. They want passion. If you show them passion and you show them commitment, they're not bothered if you get beat. They'll applaud you.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah, well, me, James, yourself will know these in in our history, in our past, when we've been down at the bottom.
We've not been Real Madrid or Barcelona or Inter history, have we?
We've got been 4-2 off Derby County, and I've never seen atmosphere like it in my life.
No, staving off relegation, and the fans just get totally behind the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Mark Hill, thanks for watching. Mark's come up with a question which will probably go against what we've been saying earlier on here now. He thinks it's a slight overreaction at the moment from the fans. He said we're third in the league and we'll definitely be up there at the end of the season.
I don't think there's nothing, there's no... See, this is it on Teesside at the moment. Is our glass half full or half empty?
Yeah.
There's people saying it's a massive overreaction, and there's people
started full and it's emptying quick.
Yes,
see,
yes,
Mark, if you read the Gazette tonight and read what they've put, we've won less points in our last 10 games than what we did out of our first 5. They're saying we're on a 10-game slump, and for once, I cannot argue with the Gazette.
No.
We've scored less goals in 10 games than what we scored in our first 5 games. We've conceded more goals than what we conceded in our, you know, it's not, it doesn't look good really, it doesn't look good on a piece of paper, but the only piece of stat that people look at, that we're third in the league.
Yeah.
Which that won't last for long.
Right. Well, obviously we'll see what's going to happen. We'll move on to Saturday's game now against Derby. And again, we saw the Boro revert to a back 3 or a back 5. It became one or the other in the first half. Only Pulis used that approach against Leeds and West Brom. And in fairness, it had some success in those games. However, it didn't on Saturday. Within 40 minutes, he had to revert to a different formation. Was it that Derby were really that good, or were we really that bad, Kenny?
I think we were really that bad.
Right.
I do, because the second half tells it all, doesn't it? Guested gets injured, so we're playing with 10 men again, aren't we? He's on the pitch, so he's injured and someone comes on. So, I mean, second half, Boro weren't really that bad. They showed a little bit of commitment, didn't they? But the first half, they were terrible.
I think the second half, we can all say that the commitment was there. We still never had a shot on target all game.
But they seemed to battle a bit more.
Yeah, we seem to contain them a lot more.
I think the key was having the extra man in midfield, and also we played in their half, second half, and it wasn't pretty to watch, but the ball went in their half more, whereas in the first half, with that extra man they had in midfield, they were in our half. We couldn't contain. We didn't lay a glove on them the first half.
First half for 30 minutes, the only player in our attacking half of the field was Carson. Huddleston was deep in our half, and he was just spraying it everywhere, you know what I mean?
I mean, I've got to say, the contrast, and I mean, it's not singling out anybody in particular, but the contrast in the midfields on Saturday, you had Harry Wilson, Mason Mount, Tom Lawrence, absolutely all over the place, buzzing about. Link-up play between those two was fantastic. We got nowhere near that.
You had Marriott and Wagon, the movement was...
You had Huddleston behind, who doesn't have to move very far, when he's getting those lads moving around for him, giving him options to pass to, whereas we looked very pedestrian and one pace, didn't we?
We like you say, we were first half, we were getting no possession. When we got possession from the goalkeeper, for some reason we thought we could play the same from out the back, and it was to Ayala or to Flynn, and then no options.
I think Dale tried done all right, and he brings it out, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he brings it out.
Dale
plays
carries
football,
the ball into midfield.
Yeah. I think the only player maybe that came out with a bit of credit in that first half, our 40 minutes, was Darren Randolph, wasn't he? If he hadn't been performing as he was, the game would have been over before half time, wouldn't it?
Even the games we've won comfortable this season, Randolph's had to pull off a worldie in every game, and he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's player of, for me, he's the player of the season up to now.
Yeah. Boro lad, Boro lad, thanks for getting in touch. This is a good point here. Boro, at the moment, he said, the crowds tell you everything, what our attendances are, and that's how people are feeling about the club. Do you think that's a fair point?
I think that's a massive fair point.
Yeah.
People are staying at home to watch it on Sky because they've got the option to turn it off.
Yeah.
Haven't they? Do you know what I mean? If you've got 30 quid, Ken, do we go to the game or do you go buy?
I just think the attendance haven't improved from the start, and I think if Boro were playing with a bit more passion, getting better results, they'd have went up at 3,000 or 4,000 at least.
Yeah.
Now.
See, Steve Gibson's got to look at what. Don't get me wrong, I don't want Pulis to get the sack.
I don't.
I want some stability at our club. But Gareth Southgate were in second place when when Steve Gibson sacked because we were getting 18,000 for home games. Do you know what I mean, James? So it's starting to dwindle, which we've discussed before earlier on in the season. But a lot of the no-show could be down to obviously the red button and Sky.
I think a few. Well, all attendances, I think, since that red button's come out.
Yeah, it's definitely affected the games. going back to Saturday, I think obviously Tony Pulis did change things around before half-time, push McNair into midfield, and like I say, it gave us just a little bit more of a foothold in the game in the second half. And Derby, for whatever reason, I know we made it a bit more of a battle. They didn't get that momentum that they had in the first half, did they?
No.
And I think then, obviously, after the game, just saying earlier, Tony Pulis came out with an interesting comment where he said it was nothing to do with the tactics. He said it was more to do with the players making the correct decisions and doing what he wanted them to do. Do you think that's right, Tony, or do you think he had to make those tactical changes?
Like you say, he seen what was going on. Fair play to him. He made that change. I think he made it on about 30 minutes where he put Dale Fry right back, pushed McNair into midfield, but I think Kenny has something to say on our midfield because, like you say, the last two games, Johnny Howson just doesn't seem to have been the same player as what he was at Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. And Adam Clayton, his last two home performances, where I'll disagree with Kenny on some things because I think Clayton's been one of our outstanding players away from home.
Do you not think he's playing outstanding when the team's playing good around him? If you look at that perspective, what I'm trying to tell our fans is, if you look at them games that we've won and Boro have played well, Adam Clayton's maybe he's done 5 good tackles, so he looks good. Yeah. But if you actually watch him in 90 minutes, he doesn't benefit our side ever.
See what this conversation about Clayton's been going back now to
couple of years,
the Premier League, where Karanka got him playing that type of position. Yeah. So I was his biggest critic.
I think he's got no pace. He's sideways and backwards constantly. I mean, Saturday he got ripped apart. Everyone, I mean, Besic made 3 absolute fantastic tackles, running back from their half into our own half and breaking the play up. 3 times I watched that, 3 times.
Do you think Clayton gets a ball sometimes and he sees an option in front of him, but because of, you know, just to keep possession, he doesn't like taking that risk anymore, Ken? Or is it just
I just don't rate him. I just don't rate him. I don't.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Boro fans that will fight Adam Clayton's corner and say that you need someone there who's going to protect the back 4 because there's maybe nobody else. I know he did that job with Grant Ledbetter a lot, and obviously Grant Ledbetter, time's caught up a little bit with Grant as well.
I just think Millwall away first game, Ledbetter and Clayton were absolutely terrible. Ledbetter's never had a sniff of that side since. No. Clayton's come in, but we picked up because Lewis Wing started for me. The link play with Lewis, like you said earlier on, Lewis, Braithwaite and Aspelonga, the team were playing well. Yeah. So he was just nicking a little ball. But if you look at them games, Boro had lots of possession in them games and lots of forward chances. And we could. I mean, the Birmingham game could have been 4-5-0. Yeah. Sheffield United could have scored 4-5. They could have scored a few goals. Yeah. We aren't creating them chances no more.
No, like you say, since the first international break, when Pulis was coming on every week saying our squad isn't good enough, before the end of the transfer window, I know what this club needs. And we brought loanees in. Yeah. And obviously, because them loanees have to sit on the bench, the likes of Tav, Wing, Fletcher, and Chapman have been nowhere near this first team squad. And you know, I'm no scientist or expert, but 5 games with Lewis Wing in the side,
we were a different side.
With a different team, we have been the last 10 games when he's been nowhere near.
If he plays well on Wednesday night, or if he gets a chance, he's got to be in a squad for Saturday. Has to be.
It'll certainly say a lot about what's going to happen in future league games if there is a positive performance. We'll get on to that in a minute about those lads and maybe the pressure that they may be under. Another good point on Boro lad here, he said Derby were great going forward but vulnerable at the back, but we just didn't have enough going forward to trouble them. I think that's a fair point because you did when you looked at them. You thought there was mistakes in their defence as well, didn't
Especially, you? Especially the back pass and carry on where they like to keep possession.
I think every time we hit the ball, hoofed the ball up, they panicked, didn't they?
Yeah. As I highlighted before the game, that was a weak point, you know, because I thought Curtis Davis, who was there, I thought he'd have been starting. But is it Keogh?
Richard Keogh.
That's the only thing Lampard hasn't got yet. He hasn't got that back 4 and the goalkeeper to play that possession football, which Man City and Liverpool like to play.
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, he made a brave call early in the second half, Tony Pulis, when he made those changes. For me, he made the 3 changes. I was surprised he took Besic off, like you said earlier on. I was surprised he came off, because I was a little bit concerned that having Braithwaite and Downing together would open up more gaps for them in the midfield to exploit, but I think maybe he thought it was a risky act to take. And in fairness, like I say, we got playing further up their field, and it started to put a little bit of panic into their defence, didn't it?
Yeah, I just think also I don't rate Downing on the left. I think if you look at them games where we have done well, Downing's been the left wing back, and for me, Downing and Shotton in them games they were outstanding as well.
Yeah.
The wing, for me, they've got the wing backs. If they would have
So
played,
you would go with that?
I would go down wing
right,
back, and I wouldn't play George Friend.
Yeah.
George Friend would be on the bench, and McQueen would just be sent back.
Yeah.
Right? He would, because it's for me. He doesn't need
Like
me.
you say, yeah.
It's just pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless.
Well, like you say, well, he's still got a guarantee on him. Get him back.
It's pointless on its own.
I mean, one of the lads that came off on Saturday was Britta Sombalonga. What have you made of him this season? I know you say you're confident he'll get 20 goals, Kenny. What did you make of his performance on Saturday?
I thought it was a bit poor on Saturday.
Yeah.
I just think, like you say, he went down too easy. A bit like Ugle when I complained about Ugle the other week.
Yeah.
Getting the ball out now before and going down before he'd even received it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more like as if he was looking for free kicks all the time.
Yeah. I think when he first come, I think Monk paid 15 million for him, and I think he made him the centre point of his first team.
Yeah.
And I think he tried to get the team to play Sombalonga's strengths.
Yeah.
And we've seen the benefits of that.
Didn't he have 11 goals before Monk was sacked last year? He had 11 goals at that point.
And we've seen the benefits of that. We had Christie bombing on, we had Fabio, we had Adama bombing on, you know what I mean? And they were getting to that byline and pulling the ball back to Britt.
Yeah.
So while Britt's running onto it, instead of getting it to his feet, he's always got his back to the opponent's goal with Pulis. And when Pulis first came in, obviously Pulis didn't like him because it took a long time for Britt to break through into the first team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a few whispers on Saturday.
I mean, do you think he'd have started if Bamford still be here? Because I don't think he would.
That's a good point, that.
I think Boro got offered a good, decent money for Bamford and let him go knowing they had too many strikers for me at the time.
And
I think the carrot was dangling in front of Bamford and he took it. I don't think Boro had any say in that. I think he just went.
Could have stopped it though, Tom, don't you not think?
I think in hindsight now, when you look at what we've got in terms of options on the wing as well, because he would also play on the wing and up front, we would have been much better off.
I think Pulis has said to him, do you want to go? And for me, he hasn't stopped him because he could have.
Yeah.
Bamford was in that team more than Sombalonga, so I don't believe that.
Yeah. Well, Pulis said he wasn't going to stand in anyone's way. Do you know what I mean?
That's what he's done. He's given him a chance, and then he hasn't said out.
Yeah.
But if you wanted someone to say like he did with Zama, offer him a new contract because you want him to stay.
One of my biggest surprises, the players you let go, was Silas Christie.
Oh, definitely.
But I don't know whether he's knocked on Pulis'
exactly.
door.
But I think that was a massive loss.
Especially Fabio, because we just don't have no genuine pace or nothing at all at the moment. There's not one player in that squad with genuine, well, in the first team with genuine pace.
Well, you just named 2 players there that could cover shot.
Yeah, well, he just Saul Starling earlier on was in touch there, just saying I would have had Cyrus Christie still at the club now, and obviously he was one that went. There's been a few comments as well about Adam Clayton here. You can tell Matt Maxwell, thanks for watching, Matt. You can tell the likes of Clayton have been told to move forward. We've seen their bad habits creep in with the backwards pass, but at times he's made about turns and moved forward. He looks more like a centre back at times.
I feel with Clayton, the first thing he gets the ball, and the first thing, even if he's facing the opponent's goal, when Clayton gets the ball, his first move is to turn his back to the opponent's goal and to see what options he's got behind him rather than what he's got in front of him.
I just think if you put Besic in there, you're going to get something what's going forward all the time. Because he's got the skill and the composure to even go past people or just pick a pass out. Yeah.
Would you play him maybe further forward? You know, maybe in the number 10 role, would you play Besic?
I've always said Besic has got to be in front of the back 4 for me.
Well, that's what Pulis done on Saturday. He pushed him up alongside the Sombalonga.
I don't think he's not really an attacking footballer, is he? He's not.
He brings more to what in Pulis's team. He's our most attacking midfielder. And when the formation changed on Saturday, when we went to 4-4-2, it was Besic who we pushed up alongside the Sombalonga. For some reason, that's who ended up there. I thought it might have been Downing, but and then he had that chance where he could have went either side of the keeper.
See,
I
would play Besic in front of the back 4 with Wing and Howson in front of Besic. I just think that midfield would be unbelievable.
Right. That's something to bear in mind. We'll see whether it happens over the next few weeks. In Saturday's game, in the second half, eventually we saw some tasty challenges going on those lads from Derby. And I don't think it was before time, but even then, Randolph had to pull off another good save from Nugent when it was 1-0, which kept us in the game. Then we got the get out of jail free card with the own goal. I mean, to be honest, after 20-30 minutes on Saturday, there was no way you could see us getting a point. So at the end of the day, it's a decent point.
The point was like, we've had a few of them, haven't we? We've had a few. Two for me, two really good points. Millwall away and Derby at home.
Yeah. So you know, yeah, I agree, Ken. Yeah.
But Millwall away in the end, we could have won it. Really, for me,
Yeah.
if we'd got an early goal, we could have won it.
But that just shows you. He had them options on the bench, James. He had Ting. He had Wing.
He's got no options.
He had Fletcher. He had Tav on the bench. Where now,
We've got no
it's
options
just like
to
for
change
like.
it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like for like.
I mean, even Fletcher away at Millwall he come on, he battled and he showed passion, didn't he?
Yeah.
He chased everything down.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that was Gusted at full fitness because he started limping after 2
He
minutes.
got a challenge, and he was struggling on it. Yeah.
So that might be full fitness for Gusted.
I mean,
you know what I mean? He's just got a slight limp.
In fairness
get
to
him on.
Gusted, what I will say is the 2 games he came on last week against Rotherham and Derby, as soon as he came on, he won the vast majority of the headers, the balls that went up to him, he won the vast majority. The problem we've got then is
there's no one behind him.
There's nobody there when he wins the flick on, and that's a problem we've got. I think it was the game against Rotherham last week as well. Johnny Howson cleared the ball on the right-hand side, and there was absolutely nobody forward. He ended up chasing a ball that he'd cleared. And you're just like thinking, what's going on here? You know, we're at home to Rotherham, and we've got a centre midfielder here clearing the ball, and he's then going chasing 40, 50 yards after it.
When he brought Gusted on, and who else came on? Which other striker? He brought 2 players on. He brought Gusted on. I can't. But he took a Somberlonger off.
Savile came on,
He took a Somberlonger off, and he brought Braithwaite on, and he brought Gusted on, and he took a Somberlonger off, he took Besic off, 2 players out been scoring, and he brought 2 players on who weren't scoring.
One thing I've
Braithwaite the third who's not scoring.
He always takes Asperlonger off and brings Braithwaite on.
Yeah, like for like.
Like for like, and I don't get it.
But when Braithwaite starts, he gets a uke every 70 minutes, and he's off.
He doesn't have that continuous of Braithwaite and Asperlonger for me.
No.
He doesn't have it, and for some reason I don't know why he doesn't. I don't get it.
And like you say, with Gusted's lack of games, that header, which was pretty much a gimme, and he put it across the face of the goal. Like you say, if he'd have been in the side 5, 6, 7 games, and
I mean, I've seen it.
He got his head on that, he'd have most probably scored.
Did you see his interview earlier on, Pulis?
No.
Saying he needs reinforcements and.
I think that's clear to everyone. That is it. I personally don't think that squad at the minute is good enough to get us in the top 2 this year. I really don't. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the squad that went up 3 years ago.
I don't think it's good as squad as August.
What players does he need? Because what formations is he going to play?
Don't know.
Does he want 2 wingers and he's going to go 4-2-3-1, or does he want another midfielder and put 4 midfielders?
Like you say, we're not Polish,
you know what I mean?
passion. We just.
I want to know how we can't score for corner.
Oh, he missed another sitter as well,
Flint.
Flint.
Yeah, and again, I mean, he was bought not
Have
only.
we scored off a corner?
Yeah, we scored. I think we scored.
I don't think we scored after Sheffield United, have we?
Not for corner.
Well, no, last year.
Yeah, I think we scored.
I was attacking the league.
Yeah.
Did we score off corners off at Bristol? I think we got a couple at Bristol off corners.
No, it was a cross, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Braithwaite scored when he was put through and down and took the full back and crossed it.
The ball in for my liking, right?
But and I think that's a fair point, because I think when you bought Aidan Flint, as well as him being an imposing defender, I think it was on the understanding that he'd get a fair few goals, and he's got the one against Sheffield United and nothing
10
since.
goals each last season.
Yeah.
I will say about Flint, like, I thought he had a really good game Saturday.
I thought it was a positive for Boro on Saturday. I did. I did.
I mean, if nothing else, it showed that there is some fighting spirit and there's a bit of resilience amongst that team, because it took an absolute pounding and a battering for 30 minutes on Saturday.
Well, if you were playing in that team, James, and you hadn't touched the ball for 30 minutes, you would have goaled down. How would you feel as a, you must think, that's us done.
I was sat there on Saturday, and I was just thinking, we're going to get hammered here. Yeah. That's all I could see after half an hour. I thought this was going to be a 3 or 4-0 job.
After 5 minutes,
and you just thought, there's no way back from this. So to get a point, and if you look earlier in the week, they went to West Brom, did them 4-1. Yeah. They beat Sheffield United before. They've won at Old Trafford this season. They're a decent team. They're no mugs, Derby. But like I say, I think that says everything about the Championship, that as well as they played, and they probably haven't played as well as that this season, they haven't come away with a win. Yeah. And that's the Championship all over. You can play really well, not win games. Yeah. So I think this year it is going to go right to the wire, and I think we're going to be one of the teams that are going to be there or thereabouts. But
do you think it's a more competitive Championship this season, or do you think the standards have dropped this
I think
season?
It's both.
I think the standards have dropped. This division's definitely a league for me.
So we've got the experts saying we've got all these players coming down now from the Premier League to play in the Championship. It hasn't done it any.
No, I mean, even when I watch different games, I remember watching Sheffield Wednesday against West Brom. It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
AJ, thanks for watching, mate. Brit needs support to play to his feet. He can do something. Over the top does not work, not his game.
Definitely agree with that.
Do you think?
We've always said it every year, haven't we?
I'm not so sure if it's over the top. I think if he's played in, if the ball's played on the ground for him to run onto.
If we've got an intelligent enough midfielder,
there's another question there, isn't it?
Yeah, hasn't Lewis Wing got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If there's someone with the intelligence, or
he can pick
the
a pass
balls
out,
to actually play that pass. I mean, we don't see enough of it now.
I'll go back to pre-season. I know it was only 80 put away. I seen him put that pass through to Fletcher from his own half. And it was unbelievable. I mean, he done it again in the League Cup, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's 4 home games now. We've got 1 goal, which was the own goal on Saturday, and we've got 3 points from those 4 games. Is it time for a change of approach, Boro fans? What would you like to see done? Get in touch with us while we're still out tonight. Richard Stout's one of those people that's got in touch with us. Britt's an out-and-out striker. He's been played as a target man and a hold-up player. Yeah. If we play to his strengths and put balls into him in the box, we'd see the best out of him. Yeah. Sadly, we don't do that. I think you agree with that, don't you?
Fully agree with him.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing that come out of Saturday's game, Guesty, was the atmosphere. Just said about the crowd, it was just under 23,000, which I don't think's terrible. I mean, we've had bigger crowds.
Yeah, Saturday morning on Sky.
It's on Sky. What I will say is, when we got promoted our last promotion season, we played Derby, and I know it was over Christmas, New Year. There was over 30,000 there, and the place was absolutely bouncing. It was never like that at any time on Saturday, was it?
From both sets of fans,
in fairness, they brought less than 1,000, which was poor.
They didn't bring that.
But is there a reason why it seems as though everyone's a bit flat at the minute, do you think, Guesty?
Yeah. Fans aren't coming and getting entertained. Like you say, you'd be happy with a 1-0 win and being entertained, but it's been going on for too long now, from Karanka, from the Premiership to the last 2 seasons. Gary Monk, call him what you want, but it was entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't very organised.
No,
it was all opposite of what we've got now.
It was a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
But have we got rid of him a bit too early? Because look at Birmingham City now.
Well, I was very impressed with Birmingham this season, mate. Very impressed.
But like you say, is he the manager who we can do it with a low budget team? And like
not too much pressure.
He came to us like a kid in a candy shop.
I think Boro over the last couple of years, the managers seem to be under pressure and they can't do out.
No. No, but
is it a big pressure thing coming to Boro?
The no show. Well, I think George Friends.
Backing the wrong managers.
I think George Friends said. George Friends done a piece and he said he's been out and about and he's getting the feeling that it doesn't feel from the fans that we are top of the league or second in the league. You know what I mean? But I'm not being funny. I go to every game. I go to every away game. And I don't think I had a conversation on Saturday before the game about anything positive. About our position, about the squad, about the Fest 11. People were seeing the team on Saturday and going,
straight away.
I just don't. I'm as confused as what all the other fans are. Yeah. The fans who think we should shut up and stop moaning about it, and the fans who want to moan about it.
And then the fans who just think, oh yeah, we're up there and we're doing all right. But
it's hard.
We are the proper fans who know we should be 6 and 9 points clear.
Do you think it's as simple as what we've been saying and what people have been going on now for, it seems like weeks after weeks? Is it as simple as getting the lads like Tavernier, Wing, Fletcher? Is it about getting them involved in the first team squad or in the first team? Or do you think the players just aren't there at the minute in that squad? And because of what happened in the transfer window, we're a bit short?
I think them 3 have got to be given a chance.
Right.
Definitely 100%.
Right.
Like another team, if Ryan Shotton, who is a centre-half, been playing full-back, and we brought Paddy McNair in to play in the midfield, is it Spence, the kid? Other teams don't seem too frightened, no matter who the manager is, about, right, he's out. I'm not putting a square peg in a round hole, we'll put Spence in, give him a chance.
What's that lad who's gone to Yeovil? What's his name?
The
right back.
Luxembourg.
Mamutovic.
Unreal. He's doing an unreal.
And he is a typical Pulis player,
right
6 foot, 6 foot plus. You know what I mean? And he was.
And he's got an engine on him as well.
Yeah. I mean, on Friday night, the under-23s went up to Newcastle, won 3-1. Admittedly, Newcastle, it was a team full of young lads. Ashley Fletcher scored a hat-trick, 3 good finishes, 3 good goals. And the man that ran the show was Marcus Tavernier. He stood out head and shoulders above anybody on that pitch. And you're looking there and you're thinking, there's some of our problems there that could be solved by getting these lads involved.
Yeah.
My only concern is, and I know we've spoke about this as well, is are we now putting a lot of pressure on these lads that when they do come into the first team, if they don't deliver straight away, people will go and jump on that and say, nah, they're not good enough, they're not ready, or do you think Boro fans will give them
No, I'm 100% believer that them two will deliver.
Right.
I have no doubt.
I'm in the same camp as James, where if they all come in on Wednesday night against Palace and we get a good tonking, you're going to have Mr. Pulis saying, right, I've given you what you want.
Well, I've been thinking that all day, Tom, because
So,
I know that probably could happen with the players around them. But like I say, 2 players can't make a team, but them 2 players can make a difference to that 11 team.
To the first team.
To the first team. They can make
Yeah.
a difference to that first team. That's the difference.
Yeah.
If them two or three players come in Wednesday and play with House and Besic and them type of players around them,
Then they'll make a difference.
and
You'll see a different Boro
and if
side.
we start scoring goals, surely, that's
He won't do that.
that's
will
what
he?
we want.
He won't do that though.
Yeah. No.
We all know he won't do that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. So obviously we've got that out the way now. The Derby game, Wednesday, like you've just mentioned there, the cup match, Crystal Palace, last 16 of the League Cup. Now we're in the quarter final. Do you expect lots of changes, like we maybe thought before, or do you think there'll be 3 or 4, or do you think there'll be wholesale changes, Tony?
I think it'll be similar to what we've had in the last few rounds. I think we'll have Ledbetter back in. Most probably have Dimmy or my old man's a dustman back in goal. Lonergan.
Yeah.
I'd see most probably Dale will get a run out, but definitely changes up front. We'll see Hugo come in wing.
Yeah.
Tav. You know what I mean? So
Stick
Fletcher.
for his throat.
Yeah.
Like
Chapman,
like you
would
say,
you play Chapman?
I've played Chapman, but
Yeah.
is he just being held back for a move in January to Blackburn?
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
I think, like you say, Robert, I know that you may stick with the team that beat Rochdale, beat Preston. My only concern is you're going to step up in class on Wednesday. And I know Palace, they'll make a lot of changes. It won't be the team that played Arsenal yesterday, but they still, I mean, they made 10 changes when they went West Brom in the last round, won 3-0. So they'll bring in a lot of lads that'll be maybe different to the Premier League team. My only fear is if we pitch in a load of kids there, it'll destroy them and it'll be a reason not to put them in the first team. And I don't want that to happen. Yeah, I would go there with quite a sprinkling of a normal first team.
yeah,
Put
definitely.
the lads in the people want to see.
And they're pretty much similar to us. They're quite a big, strong,
physical
team.
Yeah.
So
No, I think. I mean, Palace. Where do you think for them this fixture?
I mean, if it's not important, why not chance dropping Clayton for me?
I don't think Clayton.
And then let Britt have a rest, and then let Down have a rest, because he always says Down's his main man.
Yeah.
Always makes a point, and Clayton never drops. So why not just drop them two? Put the kids in with the team around them and see what they can do.
Personally, I can't see Downing or Clayton. Down will most probably be on the bench, and Clayton, I can't see him making the first team. But like James said, it's a step up in class.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that big of a difference if we're favourites to be going up, and they're favourites to be in that relegation battle. That class shouldn't be that far apart.
I think in these cup games,
we beat Man U, we beat Man City. It happens in.
If you want to call them bottom half Premiership teams and top half Championship teams, I don't think there's that much difference. I don't think there's that much difference, because cup games over the past seasons have proved that.
I mean, you look at the players who probably come in there punching, we were going after them.
Yeah, someone's mentioned him about possibly coming here in
January.
January.
He can't get a game with them.
Yeah. He came on as sub yesterday, didn't he? He'll most probably get a start Wednesday night.
Yeah. And also look at the games Palace have got either side.
Yeah.
I know. I've looked at that straight away.
Yeah, they've got Chelsea away at the weekend.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
I just think this is a chance we can go through, and the last 8 is a massive. It's a massive.
You'll get a home draw in any quarter final.
I mean, we're up there. There's nothing to lose. So why not just play the strongest team and put them 3 players in who we all want to play in the side.
Bob the Builder, thanks for watching, mate. I wonder if you can fix things for us at the minute. You said I'm going to see what the team is on Wednesday at 7 o'clock and decide if I go or not.
I think a lot of people will,
He said after the Derby game, I've had enough for a while. The football is dire. There's a lot of people that feel like that.
Is that Bob Builder? Did his brother used to play for Sheffield Wednesday?
Jules the Builder, yeah. Yeah, it might be him, yeah. David B, now this is a different approach on what we've been saying about. We were saying about giving the young lads a chance. David B reckons we need some quality veterans in our side. look at the team that got the UEFA Cup final experience right through the team. I think that's a different era.
We've got more veterans in our side at the moment. It's like Captain Mannerin's gang at the moment, man.
Yeah.
Seasoned professionals.
Yeah. So
they've had more seasoning than the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Some of them, man.
What do you reckon then? Go on then, lads. Predictions for Wednesday night, Crystal Palace. I mean, obviously it's hard to make a prediction when you don't really know what the two teams are going to be like. I think we've got a fair idea that there'll be changes.
I think if it goes with the same teams as the last round, we'll get absolutely hammered.
You reckon?
Yeah. Even with them two kids and what I've been raving about, we'll get hammered.
Go on then, give us a prediction.
I reckon 2 or 3-0. If he sticks with the same teams in the last couple of rounds. Nice. I mean, was it the Rochdale game?
Rochdale and
Preston.
We were hanging
absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
As soon as we took Besic off, was it Besic started, didn't he?
It was.
He ran the show. As soon as he went off at half time, we were.
We were hanging that night at the end.
Well, I said to Rob earlier on in the week.
I don't think Wing played in that game, did he? Wing never played.
I don't think so.
No, because he was resting him in that. And then he didn't play at Leeds, did he? After that.
Yeah. I've said to Rob. I said to Rob on Saturday. He asked me about what you think on Wednesday. Palace hadn't scored at home till yesterday. We're struggling to score, so I said we'll go through on penalties after the 0-0.
I don't think that's a bad shot because it's only 90 minutes to get the penalties. I think you could go to penalties on Wednesday night.
It's not a bad shot when you're at home, is it?
No. So that's that one. Yeah, Jack Hunter reckons it'll be 3-0 to Palace if the Derby game's anything to go by.
Wait, Jack, get your head off.
This is the thing at the minute, isn't it?
Everyone's negative, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's no positives to take out of anything.
But after the Rochdale, the
Millwall game, first game of the season, I remember we were absolutely down in the dumps about it all. Yeah. They went on a 4-game winning streak
after the Rotherham game. We do the live bit in Rotherham and all the fans are coming in 4-0, 5-0 Rotherham.
But that's what gets me. That
Saturday morning, you go live. Right, give us some score predictions. Now we're
that's
playing
what gets
Derby.
me. So that first game, that problem was there straight away. Them kids have come in, refreshed everything. We're in a good run, and then you drop them Leeds away. And because you're going 0-0 draw, you played all right. Oh, you just need to put him back in now. And that was a scapegoat.
They've been nowhere near since, like you say, since the Leeds game. They haven't even been in the squad because we brought back in McQueen,
Ugal,
Saville, and they've been nowhere near since.
Yeah. AJ reckons there's nothing to lose on Wednesday night. We've got to go for it. Be positive and we'll win 2-1. Don't know what you reckon, Rob?
I think we'll win.
You reckon we'll win Wednesday?
We'll win, yeah, 1-0.
Right.
It's another game that me and GUESTY will have to go to.
Yeah. Jack Hunter, Pulis will park the bus on Wednesday to win on penalties. But if we concede, that's it, game over.
Oh, if we concede, it's game over, definitely for me.
Yeah, so
we've never been, like, keep going back and back. We've never been a great team for coming back after going a goal behind since Karanka's been in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that'll be Wednesday, and then at the weekend, the viewing public have got another treat because we're on the telly again. Away at the Stoke City, visit to the Potteries.
That's definitely great Saturday night tea time viewing, isn't it?
I think Stoke, a little bit, their season seems to be mirroring ours from last season. They brought a young British manager in Gary Rowett when we got Gary Monk.
Yeah.
He's assembled an expensive squad. It's packed with established players, big name players. And they've had a really slow start. Now they've just started to pick up a little bit. I think they've had 1 defeat and 6, haven't they?
I think this time last season we were 14th.
Yeah, it's about where they are now, isn't it? Yeah.
I think I said last week, you still can't disregard
well,
Stoke and Aston Villa.
I think they're a bit like us though. If you get on the backs, the crowd gets behind them. If they don't get behind them, they're a bit like us. The pressure's on. Because there's too much expectancy.
But that's a game, if we go there and get a point, you come home jackpot.
I wouldn't be disappointed with getting a point there because for all the problems they've got at the minute, you know, when you look at the players they've got in the team, I was writing some of the names down earlier on. You've got Jack Butland, Joe Allen, Darren Fletcher, Tom Ince, James McLean, Bojan, Raheem Shawcross, Peter Crouch, Charlie Adam, Benicophobe. You look at there and you're thinking, well, who do you leave out of all these players?
Champions at the start of the season.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think they were a lot of people's favourite, and I think maybe that expectation has got onto them a little bit, and the crowd's expectation.
Darren Fletcher was one of United's best player this season. Last time they won the league, he dragged them over the line. Fletcher, he was Fergie's number one. Wasn't he?
Go on, mate.
I think teams are raising the game against Stoke City as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
they've got similar symptoms to what we had last season.
That's what happens when the expectancy's there.
Yeah, Bob the Builder's been back again, and he's saying there they've got a lot of dangerous players who'll cause us problems, but they are shaky at the back. But will we go and try and exploit that, do you think, or do you think we'll sit back and try and hit them?
We'll do the same again. We'll sit back.
I'd say we've been 40, 40% better in our away performances than our own performances, even though it might have just been a second half.
In spells we have, we have been impressive away from home, yeah.
I just think when you look at
the support
Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday, though, they're poor sides, aren't they?
But you still have to put them away.
They made us look really, really good, and we aren't really, really good.
But then getting back to your point, you think that's because it is a poor division, that maybe teams don't look good and they might be in the top half of the table, yet
I mean,
they're
look
not
at Millwall
that good.
beat us with 3-0 Saturday. What does that tell you?
Well, for an hour they look good against us, didn't they?
I mean, the last half an hour they could have scored a few chances against us. I mean, we could have went 3-4 up, but they still had a few chances themselves.
Yeah, it's a strange league. It's a strange old league, and it's like you say, every season it just seems to be. It changes.
I just think Boro players, someone's looking for a player to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and they all just seem to be looking at each other like there's chickens lately. That's what they seem to be like. There's no one grabbing the bull by the horns.
We don't seem to be a team like Derby did in the first half. We just keep it on.
I don't think you're going to
permanently on.
You're not going to see that between now and January, are you? I don't think that's just not going to be an
personality. We haven't got the movement. Like you say, we've got no one with the movement, no one with the vision. And just the way they just camped in our half, and they found a Derby player with every pass near enough, and they didn't waste possession. You know, we want Boro to play like Boro. We don't want to be copying Derby. You know what I mean? But
I mean, a point what I will make is Lewis Wing signed a 4-year deal last week. What is that all about? If he hasn't got potential, why have you just given him a 4-year new contract?
It's either putting his price up for when he moves, or.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense at all.
No.
I think this week will tell you a lot, won't it, about where the likes of Lewis Wing are going to feature in the next couple of months. I fully expect they will be involved on Wednesday, and then you take from there what the performance will be. But if they're not involved at the weekend, I don't think they're going to be involved a great deal between now and January.
I definitely agree with that. So, then I think the fans will get on his back, and I think things will happen.
Yeah.
Well, lads, I think we've run out of time, unfortunately. Thanks for coming on the show. Enjoyed you being on tonight, mate.
Thanks for coming on, Ken. Well done, mate.
Thanks a lot, Guesty.
That's another one broken.
Okay, mate. Thanks for watching, Boro fans. Thanks for getting involved, as always. Thanks for all your comments. Look out for Foxy's previews of the Palace Cup game and this visit to Stoke, or whoever's doing the previews this week, if there is any. Guesty, Rob, AJT will be at the games on Wednesday and at the weekend at the Potteries. So give the lads your views, get involved, it's your programme, your station. Join the growing band of followers on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. Until next week, from us all here at the Longlands, thanks for watching, and up the Boro.
Up the Boro.